Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation. Watch Kalamazoo Lively Arts every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Speak It Forward is a nonprofit organization that both Kirk and I started in 2009, and we are dedicated to helping others find and share their voice through the power of spoken word, poetry, storytelling, rap, singing, any medium of storytelling.
We are often brought in to work with leadership development, the quote-unquote societal elite, as well as work with the throwaways, the troubled, the delinquent, however you want to describe that. But where our voice really tends to matter and where this work really hits is with the delinquent youth or the at-risk population or the ones that are put at the margins of our society. And these youth, they have done, you name it, some heinous things. And from all around the country, you're talking about youth that you cannot believe at the age of 12, at the age of 15, at the age of 11, wherever they're at, have been through more than what most people have been through in their entire lives. And these are the youth who have the experiences to share with us a learning opportunity for all of us. So I consider them young teachers, sometimes misdirected and misguided, but once they realize that in fact they are our teachers, they step up to the plate and they take that role on quite seriously.
We were so young when everything happened, experiencing pain at an age when we should have been exploring our imaginations. But today people judge us by the bent edges and the faded cover of our life.
Before they know the content of our story, before they understand how it all started. So for all those who don't know the reason and never bothered to ask us how or why,
we want to let you know how our pages were written. I didn't grow up with parents that sheltered me. My mother suffered a stroke when I was 4 years old, and even though she survived, she wasn't able to take care of me after that. Nobody around to show me the ropes of how to be a lady. All I had were the streets and unqualified role models. All I learned. All I knew was robbing, smoking, and all the wrong ways to make ends meet. But what I didn't know was all that time I spent in the streets, I should have spent in the books, writing my own novel.
I've learned how to keep taking steps.
No matter how hard it gets.
And now even though I can't forget what I've been through,
I need to leave my past in the past and move on.
I'm here to take a step towards the future.
And to grow beyond my past. We're tired of reading the looks on the faces of people who will never know the truth. Our truths.
It's time to start rewriting our own novels, our own stories.
And this is the first step towards writing a better chapter of our lives.
You know, Kirk talked about some of the ages of the students that we work with. For me, it's a reminder that we often look at a facility like where we've had a residency program at Lakeside Academy for 5 years. People will look at a facility like that and go, they deserve to be locked up there. And what our organization really tries to do is shine a light on, it is amazing that they have gotten as far as they have based on the experiences that they've already gone through, some of them by the time they're 3, 4, 5 years old, that they have survived this far already.
Mm-hmm. So to start, we want you to imagine that you know nothing about us at all.
So we're gonna pretend we didn't have the interview, and we are gonna go somewhere outside of the studio. So can you think of somewhere where you like to go, where you would run into people that you don't know? And you can just say that part out loud.
Bicycling.
Okay, so you're bicycling. And do you have a spot that you like to go sometime? Can you tell me what it is?
Kent County Trails.
Okay, so we're Kent County Trails. And you happen to see Kirk walking on the trail, dressed exactly the way that he is. Now, we need you to be brutally honest for this part, okay? We want you to write down your first judgments or assumptions about him based solely on physical appearance alone. As you pass Kirk on the trail, then you see me. solely based physically on appearance alone, that's clothing, what style, whatever, your first judgments and assumptions. So come up with 1 or 2 things of each. We would do this with an audience, a classroom, whatever, and they're anonymous. So we're putting you on the spot a little bit.
Yes,
but
that's what we do.
We would then collect these on note cards, and we would then read them all out loud, which is oftentimes very funny and uncomfortable for us, because you can only imagine some of the things that people say when they have anonymity. Right?
Free range.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even through all of this, I'm never able to let you slip from my mind, because I'm reminded each morning I check my phone for that one missed call. And every night when I go to sleep, I worry that's why we haven't spoken to each other. It saddens me because I know that I might not get another day to make things right between us. That you might not wake up tomorrow, or you might not go to sleep tonight, and I know that one day I will wake up to that one missed call. But before I do, I hope you find your purpose in this world and decide to start living it again. I hope our skeletons will get to dance with each other while you find the strength to pull yourself back together again. But most importantly, I hope we never end up like those broken walkie-talkies. 2 pieces of the same set, designed to communicate with each other, but still finding ways to break each other down, and reasons why we can't hear anything but static when we try to connect. Too stubborn to realize that maybe they never needed fixing in the first place. Maybe all they needed was someone to take them from the back of the closet and give them a second chance. And maybe, just maybe, all they needed was a new set of batteries. Thank you.
When light bulbs go off for these students, it's when they either are refacing the worst moments of their life and decide to see it differently and communicate about it differently. And we see that because they start to talk about it, and they start to feel empowered because other people are applauding them for sharing their story.
A change could be as small as, after our program, the student goes and plays basketball and gets fouled very hard, and instead of standing up and picking a fight or screaming in that kid's face, decides, you know what? I'm not going to make that choice in my life. I'm going to make a slightly different choice. And those small changes that you can't often quantify are what end up causing the bigger changes in their life, because they start to see their world differently. So we're gonna ask you to share with you your thoughts about us. What would those thoughts be? First instinct, judgments, assumptions. And we know that we're prodding you to say those things that you may normally keep to yourself.
If I pass Kirk walking on a trail in a suit and tie, that man is stressed. He needed to leave the office right away. He's a stressed man.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
You are getting out to exercise. You don't care. You are just getting out to exercise. You've put your t-shirt on, and you're part of the exercise crowd.
You guys were really kind. Normally when we ask this, people would be like, Kirk looks like a complete jerk and he works at GNC, and then people be like, Gabriel looks like he helps mow the lawn.
Yeah.
And we allow people to say whatever they want, and we read them and we laugh at ourselves, which creates a room and environment of acceptance, of accepting the fact that we all have judgments of each other, and then we can start letting go of those.
And that's my take-home message, is to not judge.
Correct, and one of the ways that we're able to do that is then by telling our own personal stories. My survival of cancer, the struggles that Kirk went through throughout his whole high school, and then in that sharing of vulnerability, we'll pass out a second note card and say, okay, we're in the same place. Now someone passes by you. What do they miss about you or not know about you based on first appearance alone? So it's really about, the takeaway is connecting and remembering that we often judge by appearance, especially in today's society, but remembering that we all have things that happen in our lives that connect us on a much deeper level.
That's right.
Shelley, what is it like being in a room with that power duo?
Wow, it's genuine. You feel this passion, you feel this energy that these two guys bring that is genuine, and the way that they bring that to their community, the way that they teach motivation, they teach relationship. It's a power duo.
And it's a very unique relationship between these two guys. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yep, they met at a competition. You kind of have a Mutt and Jeff. You have Kurt and Gabriel who have different personal stories, one from a gang history, one from a cancer history, that come together, and it's kind of like magic. They have a relationship that you want to learn from, you want to emanate, and I think that comes through when they present their work to the various youths and other in the area. So it's catching, it's, as I mentioned, genuine, and it's a power duo.
Watch Kalamazoo Lively Arts every Tuesday at 6 p.m.